Chill is finally in the air, Chamber members, so welcome to Fall 2025. I'm your host, Ashley Jones, Communications Director here at the Calhoun County Area Chamber and Visitor Center. Thank you for joining me for the Chamber's official podcast, where I'll be bringing you news you can use for your organization, Chamber event info and updates, as well as a local guest sharing what they do best to help connect you to our community. We've got updates from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, as well as some of our upcoming Chamber events. Be sure to stay until the end for my interview with Dr. Tom Nelson with the Northeast Alabama Bicycle Association and hear about all the exciting work being done locally to improve ecotourism for our beautiful county. For small businesses and importers, tariffs are having a real and devastating impact as uncertainty, rising costs, and cancellations are hitting home. The new tax law removed a lot of uncertainty, and small business confidence is high, but the tariffs, rising costs, and now a government shutdown all add to the headwinds caused by uncertainty. Consumer spending, with an increased focus on bargains, continues to buoy Main Street businesses, and small employers are bullish about hiring and nervous about labor quality and costs. Month-over-month sales at small businesses in September held steady with a 0.1% change, and year-over-year sales at small businesses rose 2.33% compared to September of 2024. Their top takeaways include 31% of small business owners raising compensation in the past 3 months, and 19% plan on raising compensation in the next 3 months, so that'll be 1 point lower than August. 18% of small businesses reported labor quality as their top concern in September, which is 3 points lower than August, and 11% reported labor costs as their top concern, 3 points higher than August. 32% of small businesses reported job openings they could not fill, which is no change from August, and 88% of those trying to hire reported few or no qualified applicants, which is 7 points higher than August. Lighter note, we did it, Chamber members! Thanks to you, we reached this year's membership drive goal of $10,000. We appreciate you spreading the word of the value of the Chamber for our community, and we couldn't have done it without you. To help celebrate, we have Member Appreciation Day on Friday, October 24th at Longleaf Event Center in Anniston from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Make plans to join us for a free lunch, chili cook-off, cornhole tournament, and giveaways from some of our awesome Chamber members. Registration for this year's Business Expo is still open, with booths almost gone, so don't miss your chance to participate. This year's theme is Favorite TV Show, so dress up and join us on Tuesday, October 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Anniston City Meeting Center. You can sign up via the banner at calhounchamber.com or contact Savannah at Savannah and the letter D at calhounchamber.com. For more information on our upcoming events this fall, please visit our event calendar at calhounchamber.com. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming today's guest, Dr. Tom Nelson. Tell us about you, your hobbies, how you're involved in the community, so folks might not know.
Well, my name's Tom Nelson. I am a local veterinarian in Anniston at the Animal Medical Center. Moved here in July of 1999. And joined this practice. Barry Nichols, who was the founder, is my brother-in-law. Mm. And I'm originally from Texas, and Dr. Nichols was actually my first preceptor. He was in vet school at Auburn. You have to do a 2-month preceptorship, and he was due to have a baby. His wife's due to have a baby during his time period. And he had an older sister who lived in Beaumont, Texas, and he sent letters out to Beaumont looking for somebody who would take a preceptor, and he wanted to be somewhere where he had family. And we said, sure, come with us, and we liked him. He offered him a job. He stayed there for a year, and he moved back to Alabama. He's originally from Talladega, married a young lady from Anniston, and he bought Dr. Staples' practice in 1982, and I ended up buying the practice that we were in Beaumont together. And almost 20 years later, it was like, let's see, my wife and I were looking to move, and mainly wanted to get away from hurricanes, oil refineries, and mosquitoes.
Yeah, those are big Those are good reasons to move.
on the golf course. And we looked at several different places, but we ended up just moving back to this area just because of for extended family. And because her brother and sister are both living here, and her cousins are here. They all have kids our kids' age. So we moved to Anniston in July of '99, like 3 months before the fort closed. Knew that was happening. Knew that was going to be a big issue with the economy, but we decided to come here and have done everything we can to make the community a better place and to welcome people, because we are blessed in this area. Sometimes people who grew up here may not realize it, but when you look at, there's 3 wilderness areas in Alabama, and 2 of them are within 50 miles where I sit right now, downtown Anniston. And so we actually live up off Chiaw Road, not just 10 miles below the state park, and we ride our bikes up there all the time. Enjoy it. It's a beautiful area, and we are always doing what we can to invite people to come enjoy the beauty we have here in this part of the state.
Yes, I love it. So when you talk about some of the things you've done for the community to help make it a better place, what are some of your favorites? NEABA, whether it's organization stuff or specific.
Well, so I have been, I'm involved in a lot of different aspects of the community, but NEABA is a big part in trying to use cycling as an economic engine. We've lost a major employer, like when we lost the Ford, and and trying to bring a major industry to replace that type of stuff is very, very difficult, very, very competitive. But ecotourism and outdoor stuff is something that brings a lot of people to an area. It's also something that helps attract businesses and retain talent, having those things available in an area. And as we say, you can't build a mountain. And so, NEABA actually in 1992 is when it was formed to start the TL Challenge. And it was the idea of having a bike ride leaving from Piedmont and going all the way over Shell Mountain and coming back. And it was a pretty challenging ride. And I moved here in '99. I did it in 2000 and been involved with it ever since then. But it is something that's now in its 33rd year. It has grown from being a little local race to a statewide race to a regional race to now it's basically an international type race, because the Challenge is a qualifier for UCI World Grand Fondo Championships. And UCI is a person that sanctions the Tour de France. So it's a big international organization.
Yeah.
And so the Challenge is the only qualifier for that Grand Fondo World Championships in North America.
Oh my gosh.
And so like in our 2012 event, we had participants from 17 states. I think we only had 7 countries. You usually have 10 or 11. There were some issues with people being sometimes reluctant to travel to the United States here lately because of some visa things. But but still, we got 37 states. These people come in for an entire week sometimes or more. They travel with people. So unfortunately, we had some pretty nasty weather this past year, and a lot of people wait till the last minute to register. And so our last 2 weeks, big bump up where we used to pick up an extra couple hundred people, we didn't get this past year because the weather predictions weren't good. But the race usually brings in around 1,000 participants, and for each participant, on average, 1.5 people travel with them. So you're talking 2,500 people coming into town, for most of them from out of state or out country, and they're here for multiple days. And so that was about a $1.5 million economic impact for the area. 2015, I helped start the Coldwater Mountain Tire Festival, which is now a kind of a regional festival for mountain biking here in the Southeast. And but if you look at, like last year, I think between the Chia Challenge, the Fat Tire Festival, and cycling in general, we have like 5,000 cyclists come with, for about a $2 million economic impact. But then you throw on top is like Sun King Criterium, the Double Street Festival, the current version.
Yeah.
NEABA started that in 2000. And we ran it for the first 13 years. And in 2014, turned it over to the city and Main Street. But NEABA founded that. And then NEABA was bringing in the qualifier for Leadville. And the Leadville 100 mountain bike race is probably one of the top 5 type thing in the world. And it is to mountain bikers, kind of like what the Boston Marathon is to runners. You just don't sign up to go to the Boston Marathon. You have to qualify. And when it first started out, once it became so popular, everybody wanted to get into it. So they had to start having some limit. And that's what's happened with Leadville. So now you have to qualify it to get into it. And there are a group of races that are qualifying races for it. And none of those races were east of the Mississippi. They were in California and Texas and in Arkansas and Colorado and, but nothing east of Mississippi. But Lifetime, who is a corporation who owns lots of gyms, there's like 9 in Atlanta, there's one in Birmingham. And they also own a lot of other events like the Chicago Half Marathon. But they own a lot of cycling events. There's things on Unbound Gravel, Imperial, Kansas, which brings in like 5,000 cyclists. They've got the Sea Otter, but they do own the Leadville series. And they were looking at wanting something here in the Southeast. So in January of 24, they sent out a request for proposals. And there were probably about 10 venues across the Southeast who put in a proposal. They chose 5 for site visits. And through that 5, they chose 2 for finalists. In which case, at that point in time, they brought up the VP of events for Lifetime to come check out the course. And Anniston, Alabama won the rights to host the qualifier, beating out Roanoke, Virginia.
I was going to say, I heard that it had beaten out Virginia, so that's great. I mean, just like you said, there hadn't been anything east of the Mississippi to be able to be the first place or one of the first to be, from our area, or I guess our region, is awesome when you think about it. I mean, just here in Anniston, here in Calhoun County.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have within our area, and there's several different things I looked at. One was having a mountain bike course venue, and we are an NEABA, which is an International Mountain Bike Association designated ride center. So we're one of 41 ride centers in the world. We're currently a bronze, but we're striving to get towards gold. Innovate Alabama is a group that they did some studies looking what it's going to take to bring in talent, businesses, and outdoor recreation was a big part of it. So the Innovate Alabama has a certain amount of funds set aside to help support outdoor recreation. And we actually got a $1.1 million grant from them to build more trails. And one of the trails that we built is what we call Southern Traverse, but it's another east-west corridor that they actually made our venue more appealing for a course. So when we were doing our application, we had gotten that funding and knew this was coming. And that played in it because that also made the course more really available for this type of event. It's the mountains, from downtown Anniston, it actually will start and finish right in front of our building, which is another thing NEABA did, is we took building had been occupied in 15 years and renovated and turned into our headquarters. And it's now hosting like 90 plus events a year, different things that are happening there. But it's going to start and finish in front of that. So within 1.3 miles, you're on the mountain. And so it pretty much mimics what the Leadville course is like. It finishes in downtown Leadville, Colorado, which is the highest incorporated town in North America. Like at 10,000 feet, But it's so it's going to start and finish in downtown, be on the mountain in 1.3 miles. The other thing that probably helped us along is that it's also going to be a qualifying event for the Leadville 100 run. And we had experience putting on large events. Mm-hmm. We've been putting on a challenge for 30-something years, and it's a qualifier for the UCI World Grand Vendome Championships. The Woodstock 5K, just again this past year, was the National RCA 5K Championship for the 6th time, like in the past 15 years. So that's a pretty big thing to have two large, which brings up to over 1,000 runners. Mm. So here we had a running club and a cycling club. They were both experienced in putting on large events. And then the outpouring from the community. One, they're looking for community support. And so there was a little thing for incentive funding that they were wanting. And of course, anything like that, that's everything new days. You want to bring a new business, do something in there. Mm-hmm. It's like, what can you do? Just convince me. And I think it was due March 1st. We found out in January. So we basically had 2 months to put this little proposal together. And I made 5 phone calls and raised $45,000 incentive funding, and which was the largest of any other group. And then we had, we had a building that's the start and finish in front of it. They had the venue, and we had just, the support from the city and from the county and from the state and everybody to bring this in here. And this event has the possibility, they commit to 3 years to start. They want us to make sure something's going to, work and do well. And, they were, expecting, is probably from 600 to 800 people the first year for the event. And we're going to hit those numbers because we're already 550 or something already signed up. But by year 3, looking at, more like 1,500 to 2,000 people, which will turn out to be, probably a $3 or $4 million economic impact for the area. Because these people come in, they're gonna stay in the hotels, they're gonna eat at our restaurants. Yep. And they're also going to, what people don't realize is that they'll see them here at the event of the week, but a lot of them are going to be coming over here multiple weekends over the year before, riding the course, training on the course. Mm-hmm. They don't want to come to this and never been on it before. The more times you ride it, the more times just what's the best way to ride it, when to shift, what I need to do, when I need to carry momentum into a turn. And so those people are going to be coming here and, interspersed throughout the year. So that's going to be the same thing happened, when the MDA was wanted to build some mountain bike course out of McClellan, and they were going to build it on 1,000 acres back behind the museum. And they asked me, some opinion and everything. And I said, well, that's a great spot, but if you're wanting to do something that's going to get you a good return on investment and attract people, it's build something that could become a course for the high school mountain bike league, which requires a lot of parking, which you weren't able to do over there, all that 1,000 acres around the museum complex. You weren't going to be able to bring, parking for 1,000 cars. And so that's when we looked at Port McClellan and putting this thing into, excuse me a sec, putting it here at the port and using all the parking facilities out there. And yes, we got on the series, and so we're bringing in those teams, and they come in here for the weekend, but they're also coming here, beforehand, practicing on the course. And that's just going to, again, you bring that many people in, they got to come in here, they got to buy gas, they got to eat. So it just continues to pay dividends for the area, and to make it even, better experience for the high school mountain bike teams is that I guess 2020 was the first year we hosted it. And so the NEABA, we put on a block party where we got a band, and we fed any student racer and their coaches and staff to a free dinner to come get together to mingle with each other on a more social thing as a competitive racing thing.
Yeah.
And we have first done this just with our local teams, where we invited all 5 local teams to get together because they see each other races, but they're at different schools across several counties. And they would see each other passing, but never really got to know anybody very well. So we put together just like a little pizza party. We invited all the five local teams to come and basically hang out together, get to know each other. And it was so successful that led us, when we got to the event for beyond the race calendar, that we opened it up and said we're going to do that for anybody. So we invite every team. So we'll feed about 600 people so it's the they get in this town Saturday. They set up their course. They have some rides on Saturday night. They can come downtown. We feed them lasagna, salad, and dessert, and they get together and they get upstairs and play ping pong and cornhole and have foosball table. And some years it depends what's going on. We've had a band out there for them on the street, and so they have a great time. And it's such that when they do their surveys, that the Coldwater Race, or one here in Anniston, is their most popular amongst all the teams because
that feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. So it's doing the things to make everybody welcome, which is something we're going to need to do.
Yes.
When we have all these people come in from the southeast and everything to come race to try to qualify to go to Leadville, is to make them feel welcome, make them feel have a good experience, and it's there's from little things to having a sign in front of your restaurant. Welcome.
Yeah.
Trail racers. Having our have your bib number, get 10% off your meal. So whatever you can do to make them feel welcome. Sometimes it can be disruption on everyday events because you close the street down for 3 days because you have a venue set up. It could affect traffic flow, but you also have to look at what it's doing for the area.
Mm-hmm.
It is doing bringing people in, and it is surprising the number of people that have coming in here. I've been hearing it from a couple different ones been associated with it, from Sunny King to even now from this, that thinking about, I may want to invest in some property over here.
Yeah.
And
not making any more of it.
and that's, whereas you can't, like I say, it's going to be very, very difficult to get a large manufactured facility. You get some small things. We're getting some small things in this Perfect Cloud, but a big thing, but you have these events and people come in and there's little towns that don't have, look at Dahlonega, Georgia. People go to Dahlonega and up there, it's the beautiful mountains and the downtown has been renovated. You have all the little shops and little restaurants and coffee shops that people come in there. They're not doing it because there's, industry going on. You're taking advantage of what you have.
Mm.
And we live in a beautiful area. The mountains, everything we have mountains, we have lakes, we have wonderful places to ride. And, from whether you just want to start out and do something easy, you got Ladiga Trail, which is basically a rails to trail, which is fairly flat.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to ride and it's safe because there's no cars on it. Just watch your intersections. And so a lot of people are coming from all around the country to come ride those rails to trail. If you go out there on any given weekend, you'll run across people from all places. They're here just to ride the Ladiga Trail. It is the longest paved trail, rails to trail. There's some that are like both, a crush and run surface that may be longer, but it's the longest paved trail. It's the first one that was connecting two states. Whenever the kickoff and the cutting of the ribbon was in April, the people from the Rails Trail Commission from Washington, D.C. were down here.
Yeah.
It was that made a big kickoff for looking at trail systems, and they traveled around the state. And then whenever, I guess that might have been March, and then they had the Alabama Tourism saying this is the year of the trail, and we had a big kickoff thing over in Volca Park and there in Birmingham, and I went over there to it. And while we were there, they were talking about it from Lee Centel, who's commissioner of tourism department. Our Chris Blankenship, who's over natural resources and state lands and state parks. T.C. McElmore from Mid Alabama. All these people. Calhoun County was mentioned probably more than any other area of the state.
That's great.
Because, one, we have Coldwater Mountain Trails, a 56-mile trail system within a mile and a half of downtown. They're that close.
Mm.
We have the Chief Ladiga Trail, the longest paved rails to trail in the United States. We have the Pinhoti Trail in our area. So we have the trifecta of the trails there. And then you get into the Alabama River scenic trails. And so that's all in this area, the things to do and people to see, and people come for that. Hey, my youngest son just started law school in Vermont. And my wife and I went up there helping move, and then we took our RV and stayed up there for a few more weeks. And we went to North Part Alabama, and there's Lamoille River Valley Trail, which is a rails to trail, follows the Lamoille River, and we went and rode that while we were up there. Or we're in Colorado, we're riding the trails. There's a trail around, actually it's paved trails in the Summit County, Breckenridge. You can ride over Vail Pass. You can ride all around there and on a good. It's a trail that's no cars.
Yes,
it's perfectly acceptable and safe. But I say that cycling's become the new golf. A lot of people used to go all these places just to play golf, and they still do, but now a lot of people do that for cycling, and that's a lot of executives and are cycling, and it's a healthy form of exercise. It's easy on the joints,
right,
and it's something you can do for a long period of time. And that's how we try to get, youth involved. I mean, you may play football or baseball or basketball for a few years, but you can cycle your entire life. I'm 73. I'm still out there riding several times a week.
Yeah, I know I see some NEABA folks in the morning sometimes when I'm headed to the chamber, and I'm like, they're out there for their morning run, having a good time on Quintard.
Oh yeah.
Well, is there anything else? I know. So, if folks are wanting to get into running or cycling, do you have any tips and tricks on maybe how to avoid injuries, or do y'all have like a
Well,
beginner?
the first tip is that you got to get out there and do it for one.
Yeah.
uh, and you know, it's just like anything when you first start, you know, working on anything, you may get a little sore the first few days, but it's something that you very quickly adapt to. But the most important thing is don't try to do too much too fast. That's when people get hurt. Is they try to, well, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to ride 50 miles. I'm going to get on the Niagara Trail and I'm going to ride the state line and back. If you have been riding and you're going to ride almost 80 miles, that's asking for some injury. Your body's not ready for that.
Yeah.
So start out small and you gradually increase. Don't think that's when people get hurt. It's when they try to push things and try to go faster than their body can adapt to something. And then also take time to recover. Mm-hmm. And it's something that you'll find that unfortunately younger people recover faster. You know, I need a day off between big rides nowadays. But it is. You know, there's a community. It's, you know, you get to with people and riding together as a group. It's fun. You know, there's so many different aspects, whether you want to ride, you know, a road bike and just start out on the Niagara Trail. Once you get going right well, then you progress and you start riding up on the scenic byway up on the Talladega Mountains, you know, towards State Park. And it's just beautiful up there to ride. If you want to get into mountain biking, you know, we have a plethora of trails around here. Coldwater is not one you may want to start with if you've never been riding before. But the McClellan trails has some very good beginner trails. And once you start, you know, you're riding and you're getting your feet underneath you and you're getting your balance and you can progress up. And even, you know, McClellan starts out with some easier ones, but you can also get some very tough technical ones. But there's a lot of, you know, McClellan's very accessible. And it's gotten a lot of people into riding who were not in it before. Two things that probably see our explosion of riders around here have been the high school mountain biking, because the kids got into it. Next thing you know, the parents were getting into it.
Yeah.
And some of the parents are still riding when the kids have grown up and gone to college, but the parents are still riding and become part of it. And that's gotten a lot of people into it. And then two, having the McClellan trails, ones that are, because I mean, the first loops that were done were, because it was, you know, for the high school mountain bike league, those things start out, they have a middle school, so they start out like sixth grade people. So it was basically set up to a sixth grader could ride. Now since then we've built more trails out of McClellan, and so you could progress from, you know, beginner to intermediate to more advanced. Then you get a little further, then you move up to Coldwater. And that's, you're out there. You're literally I say it's, you know, it's a mile and a half from downtown Addison to get on the trail system. But when you're out there riding, you figure out it's over 4,000 acres. And so that's a big piece of property.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we have room to build more trails out there, and with time we'll see more trails built. But you're riding and you may not see anybody else, because the trails you go to some trail systems and they're all so close together.
Yeah. And
they're literally, you don't feel like but this, you feel like you're out in the woods, because you are. You are. I mean, it's but it's a beautiful place, and then when people come from out of, you know, they haven't been here in the area, and I know with this Coldwater race we're having, and a lot of our event director His name is Micah Rice. He lives in Colorado Springs. He's originally, from the Southeast. And when he was racing, so he was a former professional cyclist, and he raced Sunny King Criterium in the early 2000s. And he was the team director for a group called Jittery Joe's cycling team. But Jittery Joe Coffee sponsored it. And then he did that. Then after a while, Micah moved on to USA Cycling and was put on the championship events for USA Cycling across the country. And their headquarters is in Colorado Springs, so he moved out there for that. But he has since now gone out independent consultant and does put on several events. But he says people tell me, you're a mountain bike race in Alabama? That's flat. Oh no, it's not flat.
Yeah, it's not flat. That's crazy.
So they have qualifiers for this for the Leadville. Like I say, there's one in Tahoe. There's one in Austin. There's one actually in area of Leadville. One up in Minnesota, but ours is going to be either the toughest or next to toughest qualifier of all the ones that are out there. Because you might have an area that has more elevation, but it's not, the climbs are not as steep. So the hills over here, where like we tell it with the, you go out and road cycle in Colorado, most of the roads are going to be 7% in that area, not more, because snow and ice. And if you get steeper than that, it's kind of hard to go up them. Well, since we don't have a lot of snow and ice, almost all the climbs in the Chihuahua Challenge are double-digit climbs.
Huh.
They're 12% and 14%. If you do the ultra, you hit a 23% climb. So they're, because of and that's just, you're able to go further up, not just zigzag as much, because we don't have snow and ice a whole lot down here.
Yeah. And
when we do, things come to a standstill.
Because we're never prepared for it.
Although I get around quite fine. I spend enough time out in the West driving into it, plus I have four-wheel drive, and just got to drive a certain way. You don't goose the gas. You got to do. You don't slam on the brakes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Dr. Nelson, is there anything you'd like to tell our business community, whether it is to help just promote the race, to be welcoming to the racers? Is there
the race? We welcome the race. If you want to get involved sometime, it's still, there are expo booths available. If you want to put something out there, if you wanted to, offer a discount, that's great. And we always could use volunteers. That is something. This is going to, take several hundred volunteers to put this race on, from, course marshals and people who are going to watch intersections and direct people the right way and keep people around. It takes a lot of people to put on an event like this. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, they can reach out to me. My email is tom@teamnelson.fun, F-U-N. And be happy to direct them towards my wife Brooke is the volunteer coordinator, and we need people.
Well, alrighty. This is a great way to help spread the word, and I'll put all this contact information in the description too for anybody that might be looking for it. But yeah, thank you for speaking with me today. We're really looking forward to the race. I know we're going to do our best here at the Chamber to help promote it and hopefully get our small businesses engaged downtown to help spread the word and welcome all these folks to the area.
That's one thing that I love about our local chamber is support for the community events and the support they've given for NEABA and the Chihuahua Challenge, and now also stepping up as one of the sponsors for this group. You're one of the 5 phone calls I made.
Well, we're excited. We're
and it's going to be, this has the potential of being really, really big. We just, I think with our experience putting on large events and how the community will get behind it, it's going to be very, very successful.
That's it for this week's episode of the In Tune with Calhoun podcast. Again, I'm your host, Ashley Jones, at the Calhoun County Area Chamber Visitor Center. If you're not already, be sure to follow us on social media with the links in the description. If you have any questions, just give me an email at ashleyj@calhounchamber.com. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast through Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or even directly at acast.com. That's acast.com. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you at the Chamber.